So I've seen parts of the Parthenon, the corner of it a bit, and some of the other buildings that you have to go through to get to the Parthenon as we're coming up the hill. And I'm already starting to get a bit like a kid when it knows it's going to get a toy, and it's a bit. But I felt a bit like this when I went to Gigantea in Malta. Now I don't know whether it's because I've prepped myself in my own head to be excited and to feel a bit spooky and feel a bit ethereal, but it felt to me like I kind of felt I was going to get some kind of shiver when I got there, and I'd started to feel it coming up. So I was taking pictures of buildings as we were climbing up the rise, and again my memory's shit, so I'll put on captions on screen as to what this building is, but it's magnificent and beautiful. And I started to look at this and thinking, when I first saw these buildings on the outer part of the Acropolis, I was thinking, no way these fuckers chipped these out of stone with brass tools and stone tools and rudimentary steel and other shit. Something else was going on here. And as we started to climb up the stairs, seeing people who were clearly NPCs. I mean, look in the background there. It's NPC City, isn't it? And climbing up, the quite steep stairs, so the grand entrance, the building again, which escapes me, but I'll put it on screen. Until eventually you come out onto the plateau at the top and you see that. And for me, as a working class lad from a coal mining town, or village even, in England, who thought that our local, it's an hour's drive to Cleethorpes from where I live, our local seaside resort, Cleethorpes, was like exotic. To feel that from being 5 years old, I'm feeling like a character in a game on the beach at Cleethorpes, to arriving here 50 years later almost and feeling like I was a character in a game on the Acropolis looking at the Parthenon. It's quite a feeling, quite a overwhelming at times feeling. And Kirsty understood that, and she kind of allowed me to take a minute and do what I need to do and feel how I need to feel. And to be fair to Kirsty, she really embraced the whole trip in that respect with me, because she knew what it meant to me to have arrived at a place like this. And Kirsty came from the exact same background as me as well, so she has a real appreciation as to what hard work and using your brain can get you to achieve. So I'm here, I've made it, I'm stood looking at the Parthenon, and once I looked at it and just soaked up a bit of how it looks and feels, my next feeling was something along the lines of, they whacked this thing up in 9 years, supposedly, 2,000 years ago. Yet they've been trying to fix it for nearly 100 years. And that's the best they can do. That god-awful fucking scaffolding everywhere. And bits just look shit because of that. Using tools that are supposed to be advanced. Mega advanced. Compared to what they had originally. And they built the whole plateau in 9 years, and we've done that in 100 years. I just think there's something wrong. Something wrong in history. Well, there's lots wrong with history. But what they teach you in mainstream Western history is as far away from the truth as it can be. And I felt like once we'd arrived here, it was pretty obvious to me that I was right in that thought. And again, just walking around looking at this magnificent thing, the craftspersonship. I'm not going to say craftsmen, because I'm not convinced men built it. But whips and chains, hammers and chisels, marble, perfection, 2,000 years ago, with no brains. If you listen to the narrative, everybody was an NPC back then. There was NPC City. they, to me, clearly had access to things that we can't imagine, which enabled them to build this stuff as beautifully, as magnificently, on the top of a hill that's massive, with marble quarried from God knows where. You know, and it was only kind of like really destroyed 500 years ago, the narrative says. And we've been chipping away at it, trying to replace bits and do bits and fix bits. You can see the bits that have been fixed. The craftsmanship on those doesn't look like anything as good as what the original does. The bits that, even the busted, bomb damaged and knackered bits that are left look fucking a million times better than the bits we've fixed in the last 100 years. And we've done nothing in 100 years, and it took them 9. And I just think, nah, it's all wrong. It's all bullshit. And then I go and sit down. Kirsty goes to look out the lookout view, and I go and sit down on a rock and just take it in for a minute. And then I'm just instantly put back in the game, and I'm looking at my mission to come and photograph this building over 50 years is ruined because the whole fucking landscape is full of NPCs. And that's all I can think from this point on. It's just fucking NPCs. All I can see are NPCs everywhere. And it kind of didn't ruin the experience for me, but it ruined the photographic experience for me, because I thought, I read before, I did a bit of research before I went, just to check what local laws are for, photographing monuments and people and street photography and all, just make sure I wasn't going to get arrested. And it turns out if you want to photograph anything commercially on the Acropolis, you've got to get permission and permits and all that. So I get also why you want to know that, because you want to come up when there's no fucker else there. Because unless you're going to filter your shot to get to death and have, 3-minute exposure so you can't see anybody milling about, you're pretty much stuck with postcards. You know what I mean? So I did my usual thing of, getting close up, doing the close stuff, looking up, which I always like to do, although I couldn't get that close because of the goddamn fences or ropes that are around to stop you getting close. But I did what I could. And I mean, it's ruined by the scaffolding and the NPCs, and the scaffolding put up by the NPCs, and it's just like it's an NPC world, isn't it? It's just an NPC world. All of them milling about doing the same thing. Selfie, family shot, look where we are, back down the hill.